So, last week, if you remember, we talked about making MREs using our vacuum sealer. Well, MREs, single meal. But another thing you can do using not only the dehydrator but the vacuum sealer, you can make your own survival buckets. Now, just a couple little things about these survival buckets. You can buy these. I'm sure that you've heard of, ReadyWise or 4 Patriots or 0 Hour or Ready for, there's like so many different companies out there that put out these buckets of food, and they're extremely expensive. But if you have the right equipment, mainly that vacuum sealer, you can actually make your own survival bucket at a fraction of the cost. Now, just a couple things. One, you do need to make sure that whatever bucket you have is food grade. So that means that you can put food in it, of course. So nothing that had solvents. You don't want anything that had paint or, varnish or any type of cleaner in it. You want to make sure that it's food grade. Now, you can buy empty food grade buckets, or you can go to like a lot of places like bakeries, because shortening will come in these. Some restaurants will use sauces that come in these buckets. And a lot of times if you ask them, they're just going to throw the buckets away. So you can actually get buckets at no cost. So when it goes back into the whole budget and watching what we're spending our money on, there's ways to get these buckets that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. So, and then the other thing is, you can have as many of these buckets as you want, but if you don't have the water to cook the food that's in them, these buckets are not feasible. Then you're better off just storing up like MREs or canned food items, which we'll talk about later, than you are getting for like dehydrated or dry foods. So, but let's get into this bucket here. Now, this is not, I'm saying you have to do this, of course, but this is what I pack, and I think that it's a good representation of what you can or can't pack in there. Plus, I have some stuff in here that normally I wouldn't, but I do just for that. All right, so we're going to start at the top here. Now, one thing I do like to put in all my survival buckets is non-fat dry milk. This stuff here will not go bad. So long as it's sealed up in the bag and doesn't get wet, this will last indefinitely. So, but this gets you all kinds of nutritional value. You get your vitamin A, you get your calcium, your vitamin D. So, this right here, this essentially is just milk. But it's dry, so it's not going to go bad. So, and you can use it in other items that are in this bucket. So we'll talk about that when we get to it. Another thing that's really good to put in them is instant coffee. Because instant coffee is freeze-dried. It's not going to go bad. So there you go. You got coffee. Because, a lot of times you need coffee. It's not just does it have, give you that boost, but it's a morale boost as well. So another thing, especially if you have a lot of buckets, what you might want to consider is in your first bucket, you can put like a number 1 on it or whatnot. But that's when you want to start putting in, like, you want to make sure you have like measuring utensils. Here we got some measuring cups, measuring spoons. You can put like serving utensils in there, spatulas, ladles, a spoon, a slide spoon, stuff that you're going to need to cook with, so that way you don't have to think about it. You want to think about this stuff before you need it, and a good way to make sure you have it is to put it in your first bucket. So, another thing you might want to consider is something like hot sauce, or bouillon cubes are another good item, because that way whatever you make, you can enhance the flavor of it by using the spices. A good thing to put in these is, and you'll see these in a lot of them, but it's going to be soups, because you boil the water, and if you are in a bad situation, even if it's warm out, sometimes soups really bring your spirit up. So, and you can get like you can buy them like this, and you're still gonna be saving a lot of money than if you buy the pre-made buckets. So, but you can just get these packages of soup like this. They're gonna have a best buy date on them, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. They're dehydrated, so they'll last a long, long time. So you can buy them like that, or you can find a recipe online like I did. And here we have a survival soup. Kind of got loosened up, but this right here, 6 quarts of water, and you boil it up, and you got your soup. So Actually, you got soups. You got, the non-fat dry milk. Another important thing to pack is going to be salt. Now, this is non-iodized salt. You don't want the stuff that's been iodized. Salt has a lot of uses, especially in a survival situation. You can use that to preserve meat. You can use that to put on wounds. It burns, but it does help. You can use that to make a gargle, like a mouthwash gargle. And you can just use it for the simple purpose of flavoring some of the food that's in this bucket. So, salt's a good thing to pack. And then, like I said, I got like this right here, like 50 cents. Because they were like 2 for $1, so of the containers. So, all right, next up, let's see here. Oh, here's another good item: mashed potatoes. Right, you got these potato flakes. Right, you got the milk here. You put a little milk, some salt, pepper. Mix it. You got mashed potatoes. Let's say that you managed to get you catch a rabbit or a squirrel or something, and so now you've got some meat. Well, so now boom, you got mashed potatoes to go along with it, so you can stretch it out and you can enhance your meal that you already got. All right, let's see here. Okay, here's another one that turns into a soup. We got our split peas. You can boil this down, and it makes a really good soup. Put in some chicken bouillon, beef bouillon. I need to get some bouillon in here. I don't have any. It's all in another location. But you put that bouillon in there, a little salt, a little pepper. You got split pea soup. And if it's cold, I think split pea soup is great when it's cold. So, all right, next up. Okay, yeah, so breakfast, right? You got oatmeal. So, you got oatmeal. You got put a little bit of milk in there, so you can make it a little bit, creamier. You can get like some fruit, like blueberries or blackberries. Throw them in your dehydrator. Dehydrate those down. You can put those in there since they're dehydrated. You can mix them in there. Blueberries would be a good one to mix in there. Pack a little sugar. You don't have to, but you boil it with like the milk and the mixed berries, and you can come up with a really nice fruit oatmeal. So that's something for breakfast. And and then here you got the staple, right? You got rice. Now, rice, breakfast, lunch, dinner, because you can use rice for breakfast too. Put a little bit of sugar in there, a little bit of milk, stir that up, and you can eat some rice for breakfast. So then here's another staple that not everybody likes. So, and if you don't like it, then I probably wouldn't invest too much money in it. But I got pinto beans. So pinto beans are a staple. You got beans and rice, and this is just something that will really fill you up, and it does give you a fair share of nutrition. So, and then here I got 2 more things of rice and another thing of pinto beans, just because rice and beans, you got breakfast, lunch, dinner. So, and then lastly, in this Ziploc bag here, I do like to put like the instructions for things that I can. So this has here, I have like, this is for the oats, right? And the good thing about it is it gives me my measurements. Like if I want to make 1 serving, then I only need to use 1 cup of those oats, or half a cup of oats, 1 cup of water, a dash of salt, or it says water or milk, right? So here you got your milk. So you just need 1 cup. So that's why packing these measuring cups and measuring spoons is important. So that way you can ration the stuff out, so you're not just wasting it. So the other one is for the mashed potatoes. But you know what? The instructions are very important. So, and again, so like I said, this is not like a definitive survival bucket of food, but I think that this is a pretty good representation of what you can and cannot, and what you can pack in here. Now, something that I think would still be a good addition would be some dehydrated or even freeze-dried meats, right? Because you want it, you get that meats in there, you get that protein going. Because really, the only thing you got in here for protein is like the beans have a little bit. So, but yeah, and so this right here, you can buy, even if you buy these, it's gonna be cheaper than the ones than like when you buy like the big brand buckets, ReadyWise, 4 Patriots. Now, I still buy those, but I like to have a variety. So, like here we have rice, okay? But when you buy those pre-made buckets, you'll get like teriyaki rice, you'll get creamy chicken rice, you'll get all these different kinds of rices. And so all the seasoning's already in there, so you just have to boil it and cook it and it's ready to eat. So it saves a little bit of time, but you get that variety in your diet, which is very important. So, and of course, again, the main thing, all this uses water. And when you buy those buckets, some of the food is freeze dried and some is dehydrated, and it's important to know the difference. So it's like I've seen a lot of these people that they open up like the ReadyWise 72-hour backpack, and I have that one as well, but that's dehydrated. It's not freeze dried. So some people think you just boil the water, you put it in there, and you let it sit. It's not going to cook. You have to cook that. You have to boil it. So it's important to know what type you have. Is it dehydrated? Is it freeze-dried? Now, if I had a freeze dryer, I would be freeze-drying all kinds of meals. But I don't. They're very expensive, but I do have a dehydrator, and I have this vacuum sealer. So those are important tools when it comes to surviving, especially when you're making your survival buckets. So that's about it. Like I said, building these buckets is not hard. I think that what a lot of people don't think about that I do is you want to put in your utensils, right? And then spatulas, ladles, anything you might need, be a good idea to pack it in your first bucket. That way, once you open your bucket, you have what you need to cook. And then when that bucket's done, you go to the next bucket. Well, you're not going to put this stuff in every bucket, but if you put it in your number one bucket, mark it with a big old 1 on there, then that's the first bucket you open up, and that's going to give you all the stuff you need. Another thing you could do is you could get a bucket, just a separate bucket, and just put your stuff in there. You could put you could fit a pot in here, and then put like all of your utensils in here. Your cooking utensils, your measuring utensils. That's another way that you could do it. So you could have a supply bucket and then all of your food buckets. But the reason that I say to make it like that, though, is so that you're not scrounging to find it in a bad situation. I mean, let's say you have to evacuate for whatever reason, right? There's a flood, there's a wildfire, but you have to evacuate your house, and you have to load up your food buckets real fast. You have to move. You might not be thinking, oh, what am I going to do to serve this with? And it's like if you have canned goods, better pack a can opener. Or have a P38 on your necklace or something. But that's just some things to think about. That's why I think it's a good idea to pack this stuff in your first bucket, or make a separate bucket just for, you can put a big old pot in there so you can boil it. Because all of this requires a pot to cook too. So if you don't have a pot, you're not cooking. So, all right, but that's it. If you're new, this is your first video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd really love to have you here. We are currently at 220, so we are 30 subscribers away from that Mora and Ferro Rod giveaway. So as the subscribers shrink it down, as we get closer, I'm going to be reminding you more and more about that giveaway, and then we'll put that video up as soon as I notice, right? As soon as we hit 250 or more, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get that giveaway set up, so we can pay attention for that video. And for that one, you definitely want to have that bell notification on right down there, next to the thumbs up. Yeah, subscribe, like, hit that bell notification, because when we do put up that video for the giveaway, it's going to be like a time thing. I mean, it's not, if it's like you watch it like 3 or 4 weeks after the video is posted, it's a really good chance that the contest is already done. So, but that's it. All right, keep prepping, and hey, hope you liked the video. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you think there's something that I've missed. I'm sure I've missed stuff. So give me your ideas in the comment section. Let me know what's a good idea. I know one thing I do want to do is, and I know it can be done, but I want to dehydrate eggs and crack those up so I can put some dehydrated eggs in here so I can whip those eggs up too. Because that's what we had in the Army. We had dehydrated eggs. I think they were freeze dried, but I think you can dehydrate them too. But I'm going to look into that. Now, if that's something that I can do, you're going to be seeing it on the channel as I figure it out. But, all right. Have a good night. Keep prepping.